When Heaven is Silent, A Journey Through Prayer. Chapter 1. The Weight of Silence. The night was cold and still. A gentle wind whispered through the olive trees, and a man named Elias knelt on the hard ground, his hands clasped tightly in prayer. His voice trembled as he spoke to the heavens. "Lord," he said softly, "I have prayed for peace, for answers, for direction. But all I hear is silence. Have you turned away from me?" For years, Elias had been faithful. He prayed in the morning, at night, and in every moment his heart grew heavy. But recently, heaven felt distant. His words seemed to rise no higher than the ceiling. He remembered the scriptures. "Call to me, and I will answer you, and show you great and mighty things." Jeremiah 33:3. Yet, where was that promise now? He wanted to believe God still heard him, but the silence began to sound louder than faith itself. That night, as he looked up at the stars, a single tear rolled down his cheek. He whispered, "God, if you are still near, show me." Chapter 2. The old man by the river days turned into weeks, and Elias continued his prayers. One afternoon, weary from his journey of faith, he wandered near a quiet river. There he met an old man named Abel, sitting on a rock, his eyes closed, lips moving gently in prayer. Elias approached and asked, "How long have you been praying, old man?" Abel smiled, wrinkles forming like lines of wisdom. "All my life, son." "And does God always answer you?" Elias asked. The old man chuckled. "Always, but not always with words." Elias frowned. "Then how do you know he hears?" Abel opened his eyes, their depth reflecting peace. "Because I am still standing. Because I still have breath. Because the sun still rises. God's silence does not mean his absence. Sometimes he is speaking through the quiet, training your heart to listen, not your ears." Those words sank deep into Elias's spirit. For the first time, the silence didn't feel empty. It felt sacred. "Be still, and know that I am God." Psalm 46:10, chapter 3. The test of waiting. Elias returned home with renewed faith, but his trials had not ended. His crops failed, his family faced hunger, and yet he continued to pray. "God," he cried, "I trust you, but my strength is fading." Days of waiting turned into months. His prayers became whispers. Still, every morning, he knelt before the Lord. Then one evening, as he sat by the window watching the sunset, a sense of peace washed over him. It wasn't an answer. It was assurance. He realized prayer wasn't about convincing God to act. It was about aligning his heart with God's will. He thought of Job, of Hannah, of David, all who prayed through pain and found purpose in the waiting. The Lord is near to all who call upon him, to all who call upon him in truth. Psalm 145, verse 18. Chapter 4. The Night of Surrender. The storms came again, both outside and within. That night, Elias went into the forest and fell on his knees. "Lord," he whispered, "I have nothing left but my faith." For hours he wept. No miracle appeared. No voice thundered from heaven. But suddenly a warmth filled his chest. Not from the world, but from within. He felt peace. Deep, overwhelming, divine peace. He realized something holy. Prayer is not about results. It's about relationship. Elias rose from the ground, his tears now of gratitude. "Even if you say nothing," he said softly, "I will keep praying, because I know you are here. Then you will call on me, and come and pray to me, and I will listen to you." Jeremiah 29:12. Chapter 5. The Miracle in the Morning. The next morning, the first light of dawn touched the hills. Elias stepped outside, breathing in the crisp air. To his surprise, the ground that had been dry for months was damp. Gentle rain had fallen overnight. His crops began to bloom again. He smiled through tears. It wasn't the rain that moved him. It was the reminder that God never forgot. Every drop felt like an answer whispered from heaven. I was always listening. From that day, Elias prayed with joy, not desperation. He didn't pray for miracles anymore. He prayed for closeness, for peace, for strength. Rejoice always. Pray without ceasing. Give thanks in all circumstances. 1 Thessalonians 5:16-18. Chapter 6. Lessons from the Silence. Years later, when Elias became an old man himself, people would come to him seeking advice. How can I know God hears me? One asked. Elias would smile, recalling his own journey. When you pray, don't just talk, listen. Sometimes his answer is peace. Sometimes it's strength. And sometimes it's silence. Because silence is when he's shaping your soul. He would often quote Isaiah, "Before they call, I will answer. And while they are still speaking, I will hear." Isaiah 65:24. Elias understood now. Prayer wasn't about moving heaven to act. It was about moving your heart to believe. Chapter 7. The Final Prayer. One evening, as the sun dipped low, Elias sat by the same river where he had once met Abel. His hair was white, his hands weathered, but his spirit alive with peace. He closed his eyes and whispered his final prayer. Thank you, Lord, for every silence that taught me to trust you, every waiting that built my strength, and every tear that drew me closer to you. You have always been faithful. The wind stirred gently, and a soft voice seemed to echo in his heart. Well done, my faithful servant. He smiled, because he knew now that heaven had never been silent. Final reflection. The power of prayer. Prayer is not a ritual. It is the lifeline between the Creator and His creation. It is where the heart speaks the language of heaven. When you feel that your prayers go unanswered, remember, even silence is a response. God is shaping your story in ways unseen. Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and it will be opened to you. Matthew 7:7. So, pray when it's easy. Pray when it's hard. Pray when words fail. Because God understands even your sighs. Every prayer you whisper is a seed planted in eternity. And one day, you will look back and see that every silent night of prayer was preparing you for a morning of miracles. Motivational closing. Never stop praying. Never stop believing. The God who heard you the first time hasn't forgotten you. He's preparing the perfect moment to answer. Keep your heart open, your faith strong, and your prayers constant. Heaven is not silent. It's listening.